Kal Hala Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakal Kadash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who are truly in the forefront of leading this truth. Shalom to the Akwams and the Akwiyams worldwide. I'm going to call this lesson, Do Not Be Deceived. I'm going to start off with a small video clip as a recap, and then I'm going to come back with the scriptures.
A historic breakthrough tonight. President Trump is announcing a complete and total ceasefire between Israel and Iran, phasing out hostilities over the next 24 hours, following a tense 12-day escalation. It all began June 13th, when Israel struck Iranian nuclear facilities. Iran retaliated by firing missiles at the United States base in Qatar and launching strikes into Israel. Over the weekend, the United States joined Israeli action, bombing Iran's Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer. Tonight, President Trump announced the ceasefire on Truth Social, calling it the start of the 12-day war. He explained the phased plan. Iran goes silent first in roughly 6 hours. 12 hours later, Israel will follow. After 24 hours, it's officially over. Every missile strike, every bomb dropped, raises global stakes. Oil markets dropped 7%, airspace was closed, and United States troops sheltered in place in Qatar. Regions on high alert with warnings from the United Nations, the European Union, and countries like Russia and China urging calm. But is it real? So far, neither Israel nor Iran, nor independent sources, have formally confirmed the deal. Trump's rollout sounds promising, but will it hold? History shows ceasefires in this region can be fragile. What happens now? We'll be watching for, first, formal confirmations from Israel and Iran. Second, a real drop in missile or drone activity. Third, diplomatic follow-through like United Nations or mediator involvement. Stick with us for the updates. Smash that follow button and comment below. Do you think this is from Israel and Iran? Second, a real drop in missile or drone activity. Third, diplomatic follow-through like United Nations or mediator involvement. Stick with us for the updates. Smash that follow button and comment below. Do you think this ceasefire will stick?
All right, Shalom, we're back to the question that the news agent had said, do you think the ceasefire will stick? We're going to see what the scriptures say about this. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So they're talking about a truce, they're talking about a ceasefire, peace and safety. But what is really in their hearts is sudden destruction that cannot be escaped. Sudden destruction. The same way that this so-called 12-day war, 12-day war started out of nowhere, something's going to happen again. Suddenly, a sudden destruction. We cannot take Esau at face value. Ecclesiasticus, otherwise known as the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So the same way iron can rust, the same way he has wickedness. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, all of these meetings, diplomatic proceedings, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been wiped away altogether. The same way you can wipe a looking glass is the same way they would like to wipe us out. That's what's in their hearts. That's what their intention is. Their intentions are not of peace. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of how our adversary moves. We're not ignorant at the ploys and the distractions that can be created to try to throw us off what we're supposed to be doing, which is following Yahweh Bashir Yahweh Shai. This is John 10 and 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they may have life and they might have it more abundantly. So we know who's coming. We know who the thief is. Cometh not but for steal, kill, and to destroy. They are not able to change. This is how they operate. This is what they're going to continue to do until Esau, Edom is completely taken down when Yahushua comes to deliver the elect. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were more softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So they're going to be very nice and making peace talks and explaining what the peace talks are going to be about with the truce. That's the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, softer than oil. They're going to be very nice about it, but they're also drawn swords, ready for war, ready to kill, to shed blood. All right, this is the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. There's many false prophets that are going out into the world. The government of Babylon are part of those false prophets. Their senators, their judges, and so forth. Don't believe what they say. Test it and try it out. Does what they say align up with the scriptures of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai? If not, that's how you know they're a false prophet. The book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 4. Yahweh forbid, yea, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. So let all men be liars. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is the truth. And the truth is Babylon is going to be destroyed. The truth is that whatever truce or ceasefire that they're trying to establish is not going to last. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. So we got to beware lest any man spoil you. Scripture that comes to mind, one moment. This is the scripture that comes to mind. Revelation chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication. We got all the nations of the world. Who is the her? Her is Babylon, America, spiritual Egypt. Fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Kings of the earth, governments of the earth, prime ministers, and so forth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So those that sell to America, that have something to gain in terms of profits, they're waxing rich through the abundance of her delicacies, her philosophies, and so forth, especially the alphabet community philosophy. But for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Now back to Colossians 2 and 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. So don't let traditions of men block you or hinder you from receiving your crown, which is salvation. There's another precept that comes to mind. One moment. This is the book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey Yahweh rather than men. So we're going to obey Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We are not going to obey men. We're not going to obey doctrines, philosophies, or any other teachings that are contrary to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And the reason being is for 1 John 2 and 18. Little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that is the last time. So there are many Antichrists, there are many anti-Hamashiachs in the world that are speaking on what to do and what not to do. But that what they're saying is false doctrine. These peace treaties, the people that form the peace treaties, the people that are speaking on the peace treaties and giving the information, that's all false doctrine. That's not the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is to destroy them. Okay, 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Evil men, evil politicians, evil governments, evil kings, evil prime ministers, they're all seducers. They're getting worse and worse, and they're deceiving the masses. Yet they're also being deceived. And why? Job chapter 12 and verse 16. With him is strength and wisdom. That's only going to come from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The deceived and the deceiver are his. So those that are being deceived and those that are sent to deceive both belong to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And they both have their role to play. And that's what's happening right now with these so-called ceasefires and peace treaties and peace talks. They're deceiving the masses, but they are also deceived because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai sent that to them. Let's bring it out. All right. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. And for this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So those that are given the false information to deceived, and those that are receiving that false information being deceived are in that place of deception, because that's what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai wants them to be. That strong delusion came from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that they should believe a lie. So with them talking about ceasefires and peace treaties, that's a lie that they're believing. Right here. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we know at the end, when Yahweh Shai comes with the angels to deliver the elect, before that happens, the MOTB, which is a micro CHIP, has to be implemented globally, and Jacob's trouble is going to drastically increase and get worse. So wars and rumors of wars. Don't be troubled. Don't feed into what the media is feeding you. Don't fall in line with the propaganda of fear. All these things have to happen. Hold on. All right, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. It's not going to tarry. This is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're waiting for our salvation. So all these things have to happen. Here we go. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 10. Standing afar off the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour thy judgment has come. This is America. This is Babylon. This is spiritual Egypt. And is going to be destroyed in nuclear fire. 2 Peter 3 and 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. How are they going to be burned up? Intercontinental ballistic missiles. Everything is going to be burned up. The philosophies, the alphabet community, and so forth. And when Yahweh Shai comes back, he's not going to make a grand announcement that he's going to come back on a specific day. He's just going to show up when the Father lets him know it's time for you to go and save the elect. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So just because there's some type of ceasefire or peace treaty with Iran and Israel does not mean that Babylon will not be destroyed. It doesn't mean that 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 won't come to pass, because it's telling us right here. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So that means that the destruction is going to come to pass. Because this is going to come to pass. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And in this scripture, the word world is coming from Aion, meaning age or rulership. Esau's age of rulership is going to be completely decimated and overturned, and Jacob is going to rule in the kingdom from that point on forever. So there's no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes about the destruction of America, and there's no amount of ceasefires that's going to stop what's coming. Because it is going to come to pass, though it tarry, wait for it, because surely it's going to come to pass. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kalhala Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakar Kadash. Shalom. See you in the next lesson.